Starting now, Captain's Log, Stardate, if you will, 65.00. And this is all about restructuring. And it's getting to that place in life, or there's those places you've been in life, that you find you need to restructure something. And so my 65th birthday was today. Some days I feel 35. Most days my head works like a 25-year-old. But I think I've gained a little wisdom and a little comprehension and a little understanding over the years that it probably works a lot more complicated than a 25-year-old. So right now, what I want to do with this now is dig into the captain's log. And the captain's log tonight is the year the man reforged himself. So, as I've said, today I turned 65, a number both heavy and holy. It's a hinge. It's a new door that's creaking open on its old iron pins. You know, birthdays come and go, but this one feels a little different. I said to my neighbor this morning, he said, "How's it feel being 65?" I said, about a day older than 64. But this one feels like a man standing at the rails of his own ship, staring out at the world that he's crossed and a world he's yet to touch. You can take that literally or metaphorically. It's a world that's battered him, broken him, and somehow impossibly made him sharper. How about you? Do you have things that have battered you, that have broken you, and you're still struggling to come out sharper? Or have you already come out sharper? I stand at 65 with a body that feels like it's been to war, a leg taken off, a throat still scarred from earlier in the year, a breath fought for, 6 months of surgeons, setbacks, and the rising dread that maybe, just maybe, the story was about to close. When I was on heavy medications for the better part of the last 5 months prior to having the leg removed, I thought, that's it, my brain is gone. I couldn't write, I couldn't think, I couldn't draw. I said to Rainey, at one point I said, so this must be what dementia feels like. I was pretty much a zombie for all that time. But it didn't. Life did not close. Because I didn't. And I won't. I wanted to face this with confidence. When I went in and I met the surgeon, I said, let's go, let's do this. And I said, if the leg's got to come off, it's got to come off. Arr, I said, I can get me a pirate peg leg. And he laughed. But that's the attitude I wanted to take. And then, of course, since the leg came off, my focus was my marriage and my family. And those were sinking me. So this year, the storms for me were very real. And the fears I had were very honest. But the resolve that grew from them, that was mythic. I feel like a man stepped out of his own saga. Like the gods, or God, looked down and said, all right, old lion, let's see what you do with this. I felt very much like Job from the Old Testament some days, who lost everything. When his wife came to him and said, curse God and die, and you never hear about her again. I think she took off. And so this is what I've done with it. I've risen. I've rebuilt. I've been in the process of rebuilding. I've been in the process of processing. And there are things every day that start to mount up and tell you this is where you need to be. You can say, I'm resolved about this thing that you weren't resolved about yesterday, because something new information comes, a new twist on life. and you say, hey, I've risen, I've rebuilt, I've rebuilding still. And I've kept the ember burning until it grew teeth and turned into a fire again. And the truth is, 65 isn't a closing act at all. It's not a gentle glide into the twilight. It's the beginning of the third adventure. The one where wisdom sits in the passenger seat right next to you, and wonder still rides shotgun. The one where scars aren't marks of loss, but badges bought with courage and resolve. The one where a man stops asking, am I enough? And finally says, I'm exactly who I was meant to become. I will not let the externals diminish me into nothing. And it's done that for the last few months. And I put on a great facade and a great front, and I work very hard at certain things to hopefully make my life go better. And when you find out that was all for naught, you say, I have to move on. I have to keep becoming exactly who I'm meant to become. I've got roads ahead of me. I've got a podcast I want to get launched. I've got books to write. I've got projects with clients I have to do. I have to restore and rebuild. I have a voice to restore. A prosthetic leg that won't just help me walk, it'll help me stride again, travel again, stand at the edge of ruins and deserts again. It'll help me kick the sands in the Sahara Desert again. It'll help me climb mountains in the Sinai again, mountains in Honduras again. Help me climb the highlands in Scotland again. I've got stories to tell, things to do, a family to anchor despite the loss of its moorings, a heart that refuses to go quiet, and a purpose that refuses to let me rest. I've got too much to do. And the years ahead are, for certain, fewer than the years behind me. So I've got no time to rest. 65 is the year I choose myself again. Starting with this day. I've only been 65 for a day. So 65 is the year I choose myself again. 65 is the year of return. 65 is the year I take the helm of my ship again and whisper, steady, old girl, we've got places to be. So where are you? What are the things that have been your scars this year? The things you have to deal with, the things you need to rebuild, the things where you have to choose yourself again. And I'm not talking selfishly. You can choose yourself from a goddamn selfish position. Or you can choose yourself and say, I need to rise, I need to heal, I need to be better to the people around me, to the people I love. Are you doing that? Do you have things you need to rise from? Let me give you some affirmations. I am not the sum of what I have lost. I am the sum of everything I've survived. My scars are the proof that my story is not finished. I rise because rising is in my nature. And I do not rise to hurt others. I rise to become what I am supposed to be because it's in my nature. My story isn't finished. At 65, I'm more focused, more grounded, more capable than I've ever been, more than when I was 50, more than when I was 45, more than when I was 40 or 35 or 30 or 25. I am more focused and more grounded and more capable than I have ever been. Does that mean I haven't gone through some tough times and had to deal with tough emotions? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means I am resolved to be more focused, grounded, and capable. And the next chapter of my life is not going to be defined by my fear, but by my fire. I welcome strength. I welcome healing. I welcome new beginnings that have been thrust upon me, but which I will take. I welcome love. I welcome cherishing the people I love. I am still becoming. And becoming has no age limit whatsoever. So let me give you a little closing. We can call it a benediction. That sounds very churchified. But just accept this as a benediction, like a whisper from the bridge. May the roads ahead be wild enough to thrill you and gentle enough to guide you back home. May the breath in your lungs stay strong, the fire in your chest stay bright, and the compass in your soul never lose its true north. There's so many times where we follow our inner compass, and that inner compass is so whacked out because our magnetic center is thrown off. And we think we're pointing true north, and we're really not. We're heading southwest or southeast. May you walk again with steadiness, both physically and metaphorically. Me, physically and metaphorically. Can you speak again with clarity and rise again with the old strength in your bones? May the gods of your fathers, or the God of your fathers, and the ancestors who gather around you, even the book of Hebrews in the New Testament says, seeing as we are encompassed or encircled about by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us move forward. I don't have to get into the rest of that verse because that's not a theological message I'm teaching here tonight. But we are surrounded, as we did with the captain's log a few nights ago, by the ancestors who've come before us. And the faith that never abandon you. They all whisper, keep going, old lion, your story isn't done. It's like that vision of God I had. I'm still here, he said. Your story's not done. And may your 65th year, or your 50th year, or your 45th year, or your 40th, 30th, 25th year, whatever it might be. For me, it's my 65th year, starting today, be the one where everything broken is finally remade into something fierce, something beautiful, and something whole. Sometimes you just have to come to the realization that you need to focus on mending yourself. Make something beautiful and whole again for you. So, the word is given. Stay the course. Until next time.